You got one life, for crying out loud. You might as well just give it all you got.
The Deej, Dan Jordan.
Your daily dose of reality. Your daily dose of the Deej.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I need my daily dose of the Deej.
I make the news. I don't watch the news. I'm a leader.
The Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan.
Listen, don't worry how to sell, baby. Worry about why people buy. And it's fun.
You don't need a 5-hour energy. All you need is the Sales Energizer.
Just when I think it's not going to be as fun as the one before, each one gets successfully better. What's the word I'm looking for? What's it going to take to get you into this car today, huh?
And now, please welcome the Sales Energizer, Dan Jordan. I'm going to shorten that. I'm going to shorten that intro one of these days. But I just love just watching you in the backstage holding your arms up forever.
You know, I love it. And the whole, it's like impossible not to smile each time you hear, what's it going to take to get you into this car? And you know, people used to use that stuff.
I've had many a conversation with people when we talk about what a typical sales or what a used car salesman is, and a view of a used car salesman to people. And I use that very same podcast clip and that very same way that you use it. It's going to live forever.
You know, it's not a bad line actually if you use it as a joke. You know, so if you use it like that's your training, you're going to say, what's going to take to get you into this car? People are going to know that. But if you say, you know, if you're a used car salesman, I don't know why we say used car sales. By the way, new car salespeople are they're the purest. It's the purest form of sales. I love it. I always want, you know, one day I just want to take a week or something and just go sell cars because I think it'll be a lot.
Really? Okay. Yeah. Well, I got a guy. I can hook you up. For sure. But I've been trying to get a used car for my son. And so we've been out shop and we went to a place to, buying a car now is like the selling's already done. You know exactly when you walk onto that lot, you know exactly where to go. It used to be back in the day, you know, so what are you trying to do? You know, and that whole thing. And then they get you into something that maybe you wanted. But when you get there, you know exactly, right? You know the whole record, you know everything. It's just a matter of just making sure that this is the car that you thought it was, basically. So when I walked onto the lot and I found the car, the guy comes out and it was like he didn't want to sell it to me. I was wanting some action. I was like,
what did he do?
I was like, so what can you tell me about this? You know, it was very general. I mean, it was like softballs, man. I was just, and he was just like, I don't know. And I was like, really? This is the guy that's going to try to sell me a car? And I almost didn't want to buy the car. Even if I wanted to buy, no, I didn't. But even if I wanted to buy the car, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to buy this car from this guy.
And conversely, sometimes you really don't, you're not sure. And it's the salesperson that actually throws it over the line. I've said it before, in this day and age, with all the information that you have, internet wise, and just experience, the most important part of the sales now is officially the salesperson, which is very important with our guest that was supposed to be here today, but he decided not to show up.
No, he's here. He is it backstage. Yes, he's ready, man. He was right before we went live.
You see that?
Guest is here. So yeah, we're good. We are all good, and we're excited about that.
It's a particularly difficult thing because while he's you could be a great guy and you could be really experienced, but if your product, I always wonder about this. If your product is like a dry, commodity type of thing, how the heck do you sell it? I mean, this guy, at the end of the day, you could talk about all fancy features, but at the end of the day, it's like a CRM program. It's like I was once pitched a CRM program. And I remember to myself, as the guy was pitching me, I'm thinking to myself, this is it's like he's feeding me a bowl of sawdust,
right,
with an extra helping of baby powder. I mean, it was like I could do anything.
It's pretty much a necessity nowadays, though, if you really want to kind of automate your stuff. I mean, you can't do everything by yourself,
A CRM is a necessity to live. My daughter just she's getting into the business world now, and so step one is to get a CRM. Now she doesn't have one yet, so maybe this guy can close me right now. Why don't you introduce them?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're happy and proud to introduce the CEO and co-founder of the Intelligent CRM that startups and small businesses love. Would you please welcome Jeroen Corthout? Oh, hey, let's get you on this. Let's get you on the screen and actually introduce you.
Hey,
Jeroen, how are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Did he pronounce your name correctly?
It was so good. I'm still not over it.
Yeah, it's like he's related to you. He's been practicing in front of the mirror for 30 minutes to try to get it right.
It's the thing I discuss most in calls is like, how do I pronounce your name? And then I write it phonetically, and then people should try. But did I write it phonetically for you? I don't think I did. Then you did.
No, you're horrible. Now, where are you, by the way?
I'm in Antwerp, Belgium. So that's why I have a lamp on me and stuff. It's 6 p.m. here.
Okay.
And so je m'appelle Daniel Jourdan.
Je peux parler français, mais je suis néerlandophone.
Je parle juste un peu, mais j'ai un très bon accent, non?
Oui, c'est très beau.
Very good. So these are extra stuff people don't realize about. See, you know what we just said? We just said that Chris Stone is awful. That's what we just said in French.
Yeah.
Well, what makes you think I didn't know you said that?
Yeah, that's right.
Chris Stone.
Chris Stone.
Excellent.
But you know what? That's interesting. A lot of times, if you're, people will do this in sales, not just talking about different languages, but a lot of times, even when you're talking in lingo, like you have special like technology lingo. If you use that lingo in front of someone who doesn't understand it, what they hear from that is you're basically calling them an idiot. Because they don't want to say I don't know what that is, because then they have to look foolish, and so when they sit back and they're like, this guy, I feel like a dummy. He's talking about this that's so normal, and I don't know what it is. Now I feel like a dummy, and I say this guy's calling me a dummy. I hate him. Sales over.
Yeah, see, it might go two ways. Either they think, oh, that sounds really fancy, or they think, he's trying to make me feel dumb or something.
Yes. So So what's the lesson from that?
Just try to adapt to.
Just talk like a human, for crying out loud. That's all.
Exactly.
So, go ahead.
In software, it can go many different ways. So it's good to understand first the level that people are at, so you can adapt to that. Some people really are not really like into how software works and all that. It's best to explain it very simply. But it's also insulting if somebody knows software very well to explain it as if you're explaining to your grandmother. So you need to find the right level very quickly there.
That's a very interesting way of looking at it. So in the software business, what are you how do you qualify that? Like how can you determine, if you don't know enough about a person, what are some questions or some conversation topics to go, okay, this person is at this level, so I have to talk to them at this level?
You just feel that as someone who knows software well, you just very quickly feel where the level is, whether they're just throwing with terms, or they actually understand the terms, or they don't know what they mean at all. You feel that very quickly. Well, I don't have set questions or.
Okay,
well, go ahead.
So you can feel already that I don't know anything about software.
Yeah.
You can tell that right away.
No, not yet. No, we haven't talked software yet.
Well, I'm just going to put it out there and tell you that that's the case.
Okay.
So this is good. So this is your company, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you started. Now, were you the developer of this product, or were you a user of some other CRM? What was the purposes of you starting this company?
Yeah, it's the exact moment that we started it. We had another software company, and I was in there to basically help my co-founder set up the sales and marketing for that one. And we had a ton of leads that we got at a conference. It was a big IBM conference in Vegas where we basically were selling software that was compatible with IBM software. And we had so many leads and we had to get that organized. And we started looking at CRM systems. I had experience with using Salesforce. And I knew it was not a great system to organize your leads. It's a great thing for purposes of management reporting and organizing workflows in big companies, adapting everything to the company itself. But it's not a very practical system to help you follow up your sales. And a second issue we were having ourselves was that as we were trying different systems, we never could get ourselves to be this sort of perfect data input robots, you could say. We would always sort of start failing somewhere. And we noticed that at that moment, the system became useless to us. So we thought, like, how can we fix this? And we saw that all of the data we were putting into these systems was actually already another place. It was either in our email system or calendar system or phone or social media, company databases, small stuff like email signatures. And we saw a system that sits on top of all that data and sort of surfaces it for you as a salesperson. And you can just accept and reject suggestions, and it will actively help you follow up your sales. And it's from that perspective that we started SalesFlare. I saw it from a very practical standpoint. In the beginning, my co-founder and CTO, he saw it immediately, all the technical stuff, but we sort of had to scope that vision to avoid it from becoming some kind of technical infrastructure or even a marketing tech thing. So very early on, we very quickly from the sales issue get into, oh, this could do all this cool marketing stuff, and we had to pull ourselves back to fixing the sales issue because there's so much cool software out there for marketing people and so little for salespeople. And that's actually one of the reasons why we call it SalesFlare, to make sure that our focus stayed on salespeople and helping them out with software.
Well, that's why we have you here, because we're all about sales. That's it. There's enough marketing garbage out there, and even with yours. So yours does everything, gets them to the right person, but still they have to make the calls. They have to contact them.
Obviously, yeah.
But you make it a lot easier for them to do. So you sit on top of. So do you integrate with another Salesforce, another type of?
That was our initial idea. So we saw this issue in lots of big companies where salespeople are not using Salesforce. And we thought, what if we build a sales platform that integrates with Salesforce, and salespeople just use the sales platform, and then the data anyway also comes in Salesforce. We tried to sell that for a while, but the issue was sort of double. One, enterprises are less interested in the end user. They do see the issue, but they want Salesforce to solve it, and they definitely don't want to put another system next to it because they believe that then there will be all this kind of data synchronization issues, and they know all the issues with integrating different systems, especially if they're using Salesforce. So we could convince very little companies, and then we started seeing, actually, we were in a startup incubator. And we saw all these companies around us that could use our system. And then we said, okay, instead of building a sales platform, why don't we actually build a full CRM? Still focused on sales, so it's a sales CRM, but having all the functionalities that a CRM would have. That's
ballsy. So now you're taking on the big boys.
Yeah.
So that's what's exciting. So that's why I really wanted to talk to you, because I'm thinking here's a little start of how do you take on the big boys in an industry, in an area that they are aggressively trying to go out and really own the marketplace at this point.
Yeah.
And so you want to bring something special. So you're saying that you can't go to the enterprise, so you can't go to the big company. By the way, they don't know what their salespeople want. So you're going directly to the salespeople.
Yeah,
so what are salespeople telling you about your product, things that they want? That do you have salespeople that say, hey, this has made my life easier. This works.
Yeah.
I want this. And then you'll adjust to that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, adjusting to what people want is what we, that's one of the interesting things about building a SaaS product, like software as a service, is that we hear from a lot of people what they want. And we need to transform that into one product. So we track very well what all the different people using our product want. Exactly, this person wants this, and that person wants that. We then try to group these needs into like this is the same thing as the other guy wants. And then we need to prioritize these kind of things. And then develop it. So we try to deliver new features every month.
But now you're killing me.
No, that's good. That's good. He's listening. He's listening to his customers, Dan. That's
here. So if I'm a customer, all right, and I'm using Salesforce right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Why am I going to switch to you?
The main reason is that people are not using Salesforce. That's mainly when they switch. We have a lot of customers that were either using Salesforce just before they use SalesFlare, or somewhere in the past, and they remember how it works. The main issue is that they're just not using their licenses because they either never got it properly set up. You need to pay people to do that in many cases to get it set up the way you like it. Or they just can't get themselves to fill it out, and that's like the team just refuses to fill it out. It takes a whole lot of work to fill it out, and you don't get a lot of return, and then people give up.
Well, so how are you selling it now in this new crazy time? How are you selling your product now? Our listeners really want to know, because other people are in the same type of situation where they're selling kind of a commodity and a dry product. How are you? Are you doing Zoom calls and things like this?
For a part of the sales, yes, we do a lot of self-guided sales. We try to get in touch with people, but a lot of people don't even want to talk to us. They just want to decide by themselves and buy.
Right.
But where possible, we try to get in touch, help them with everything we can, because the more successful they are at understanding everything and using SalesFlare to the fullest, the longer they will stay on our software. And that we don't really go out there and try to get people, except by, for instance, getting on podcasts or live things like this.
So this is your sales mechanism. This is how you get it out.
This is definitely part of it, yeah. Because apart from that, it's for us, it's word of mouth. It's people referring other people. It's people looking for a CRM and then going through tons of reviews and finding us. Or it's people reading our articles. We have a lot of articles out there. Then somehow ending up with SalesFlare.
And they're trying it. So you're looking for the individual, not necessarily for the company.
Yeah, when you're in a small business, this line is not so straight. I mean, not very clear.
Right.
So the often it's the founder is sort of still leading sales and is the one who decides on it. Sometimes it's a salesperson finding us and then referring us to their sales leader. But in your smaller companies, it's very often the sales leader going out himself or herself, and knowing very well what the salespeople want. It's a totally different sort of world than an enterprise.
Got it. All right.
Jeroen,
So
I've got a quick question. So specifically for SalesFlare, what I've noticed in a lot of CRM systems, whether it's, or funnels or Groove or, I think people are starting to get really smart, and they can start to tell when they're getting like an email that's coming from, it's something that some AI has, or they've orchestrated it weeks ago, and you're in a funnel, and people can smell a funnel a mile away. So I think what your software is supposed to be able to do is to kind of humanize that process a little bit more. So can you talk a little bit about what SalesFlare does in relation to that?
In relation to that, SalesFlare is generally a CRM system that sort of fills out itself and keeps the data for you and helps you as a salesperson to manage things well. But related to what you said, we also have a product, it's called email workflows. It is within SalesFlare, and it sends automated emails the way you set it up to your customers, where it's technically looks exactly like you send it to yourself. There's no way, even if I look at the original version of the email, that I can detect that it's not being sent by you personally. But then to make it fully look like a personal email, that's up to you to let's say use the right wording and try to make it sound as informal and personal as possible, versus the sort of robotic formal statements that people use.
Well, you see, the issue is most salespeople, including myself, they're lazy, especially when it comes to adding information into even taking notes after you have a call, to take notes. And so the emails, they do all these automated emails, but man, you gotta if you just change 3 words on an email, it looks normal. If you don't change those 3 words, you look like a robot. You're 3 words away from making it a good email. And salespeople are still too lazy to do that. And that's the reason why I said, when you started saying, we take the advice for this and we take the advice from that, man, when you get to the point when you start adding all those features that all these lazy salespeople want to make it easier, so I don't have, instead of 3 words, I only want to add 2 words, and so they make it that much, you start complicating your CRM. And then if the learning curve just goes just a little bit too high, you're going to lose everybody. So it's got to remain kind of simple in my views. Is it?
That is indeed that is the big problem that many CRMs face is you want to evolve with your product, and you want to keep offering more things, and competition keeps offering more things as well. More things are possible. People get used to it. But as you add in more and more features, it's very hard to keep things simple, and you're always building on something existing. So it's not like you have this perfect plan in your mind either. So you need to add features in such a way that it fits in what you already have and keeps building properly and doesn't complicate the interface. Which then sometimes means that you need to hide something behind something else or so. It's not very easy to keep this all under control.
I just like saying interface.
Excuse me?
I just like saying interface.
Interface,
I like working with software companies like this, because they can be nimble and make these types of changes. If you're dealing with the big boys, I mean, trying to get a hold of anyone from a customer service standpoint or an idea that you may have to make their product better is very difficult, and on a lot of fronts. And that's not just in the software business; it's in a lot of different businesses. So the smaller ones are, companies are way more nimble, and sometimes they end up being more successful because they can make those changes based on the customers.
Yeah, definitely. And that's also a danger, that the bigger you get, at some point you sort of lose that edge.
Right.
Something to always be aware of.
Right. Well, actually, this is what
you're thinking about.
It's time for the sales training moment. And I apologize because you didn't pay for this. But here's the deal. And it's only because I've been in lots of sales calls and I work with a lot of companies that sell software. Here's the trap everybody falls into. You're not selling a CRM system. You're selling the outcomes, the results to the salesperson from your CRM system, which is it's easier for you to get more clients. You will get more clients faster and earn more money. That's what you're selling. We have a way for you to get more, to convert more prospects into clients and earn more money. That's what you're selling. Or
exactly.
That's what they're buying. I don't know what you're selling. That's what they're buying. If you come to me and say, we got a way for you to convert more prospects into clients and earn more money in the same time, you got my interest.
Yeah, that's what it is about. Yeah, most people, it's about converting more leads into deals, and it's mostly related to following up these leads better. Having less people slip through the cracks, and then from a sales management perspective, actually getting sort of a grip on that, like creating transparency and accountability. Those are words that people often use within that sales process. Because if the CRM is not properly used, it's not there. Nobody knows what's happening. So that's what sales managers also really want to see.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. So it's a good product. You don't have a little sample you can show us right now, Chris Stone. Can you show us what it looks like?
Oh, I haven't downloaded it yet. If that's
so, how does somebody try it?
You go to our website. There's a button at the top that says "Try it free." Then you'll be confronted with one of two versions because we're doing a test right now. Either you connect your emails first, or you see our product first. It depends. It's a bit of a surprise what you get first. And then what SalesFlare starts doing then, and when you connect to your emails, it starts going through your mailbox and detecting people you already know. It will get social info when it gets social info connected to the email address, and it will start grabbing email signatures as well to fill up your contact details.
So that's cool. Fills it up, or it gives you things, and you say, hey, do you know this person? Do you want them? And then you click yes, and then boom, it's loaded up?
Yeah. Exactly.
That's unbelievable.
Cool. Right. So that's a huge benefit because a lot of CRMs, if you've got somewhat messy data that you're importing into it from existing leads, you end up like, oh, here's like 14,000 contacts that we can't do anything with. Or it's sticking a phone number and an address, and it's like it's a complete mess if you're importing a CSV file. But this is cool.
Yeah. With CSV files, we make sure that you don't have phone numbers and addresses or email addresses and phone numbers and all these kind of things, because this is very important for the system to connect emails to people, to connect phone calls to people, because all these kind of things can be pulled in automatically. And if we don't validate properly, like what data is correct in which place, then that doesn't work, of course.
So if I sign up for this thing, how quickly would it be? We download, let's say, 100 contacts.
A few minutes. It will have 100, but I'm sure there's many more contacts in your mailbox than 100. Depending on how big your mailbox is, it might take maybe 10 minutes or so. I don't know exactly.
And you'll have thousands of names in there.
Yeah, names and email addresses, and then for the more recent ones, it will pull the email signatures and the social profiles as well. And then as you are in contact with people, it adds these people as well. Because what it does is when you create a company, so let's say I create, for instance, whatever, Tesla. I type Tesla. There's a search engine that says Tesla. This is the logo. This is the website. So click. Then you hit create. Then it will show you the people you already know at Tesla based on your mailbox and your calendar. You can just add them with one click. Their information is already there. And if your colleagues know other people at Tesla, it will show people in your network as well. And you can see which colleagues know which people and how strong. There's sort of connection strengths indicated there. And then you can ask your colleagues to get in touch with these people as well.
So your colleagues
maps that all automatically.
Do they also need to be connected on SalesFlare? Is that how you're seeing their connections?
Yeah, it's only if they're also on SalesFlare. Yeah.
Okay. But then, how do you put those things to use? Does it suggest that you call these people, or is it a traditional CRM where you could put to-do lists together and opportunities and things like that?
You can also put to-do lists together, and SalesFlare will also create some suggested tasks, we call that. For instance, when let's say an opportunity is in a certain stage, and you've said on that stage that if you don't hear people for 10 days or you're not in touch with them for 10 days and you want a reminder, we will create that sort of reminder for you. Or if you forget to answer an email of a customer, there will be a suggested task. And these kind of things also autocomplete as you do the thing. So if you actually get in touch with the customer, that task just disappears. Or if you respond to the email or you archive the email, it also disappears. So it only shows the relevant ones.
Well, that is pretty
yeah, it's intriguing.
Cool.
I like that. I also, so for an entrepreneur, and there's a lot of people that watch this show on the replay or live that are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, some small business. There's, Dan, of course, has got big business, that watches this show.
It's all because I have a CRM system that we put together. Do you have a little picture of it there, Chris Stone? It's a little one that I put together just for everybody. Check it out.
Yeah, this is a CRM system.
Yeah, it's fine.
That Dan came up with. Tell us what you think, Jeroen.
Well, if your sales team sucks and you don't know what to do, call Dean 678-910-9912. Call Dean 678-910-9912.
See that?
Look at his face. He's like, that's what a Belgian confused face looks like right there.
Yeah. So that's a CRM system, or
that's a jingle system.
It's a joke. That's what it is. Everything's a joke here. And that's an issue with sales. Yeah. People take themselves too seriously and take your product too seriously. Yes, it can help people earn money, but it's not really going to change the world. Nothing all we do is going to change the world. Even having the 11th best podcast in the country or in the world, as noted by the way, it was just a big deal. I got this thing. Look, there was the 42 best podcast. So this is a company you need to go after because they're growing like crazy and they need good CRM.
But yeah, I mean, this is incredible because I was looking here and I was like, well, we got to see what our competition is, right? For the Sales Energizer podcast. And look at this. Of course, you're seeing Sales Babble, just, huge,
he's a cool
huge
guy.
Podcasts. And so, of course, Victor Antonio, who was the guest last week.
Right.
His
and
podcast,
so pretty soon we're going to have you guys on here.
Right.
Chris.
But look who's at number 11, Jeroen. Look at this. Look at that.
Wow.
You see that?
Congratulations.
You didn't realize
Isn't that
who
fun?
you were dealing with here. No, but
anyway, we talked about where I was going before Dan took us off the rails was about entrepreneurs. And so this, other than you guys being very nimble and listening to your customers and making revisions and updates and whatnot based on their feedback, if I'm an entrepreneur, why would I choose SalesFlare over a Salesforce or any other
Pipedrive or one of these other ones that are out there?
Yeah, there's two different, like Salesforce or Pipedrive are very different. So Salesforce, first of all, is in many cases not a very good fit for small businesses. That's at least what we hear from most small businesses. It's sort of a very big system. You can only properly use it if you use consultants. They of course have their essentials plan with sort of limited functionality, but it's not a practical sales CRM, which for instance a Pipedrive is. So Pipedrive is a product that is much more comparable to ours, but then the difference we make with Pipedrive is, just like Pipedrive, SalesFlare is very easy to use. It's very easy to set up. But the main difference is that SalesFlare is much easier to keep alive, let's say, to keep using it, because it's not as much a manual system. So Pipedrive has also created some things over the last few years, like email synchronization and calendar synchronization and all that. But it still very much starts from that manual first standpoint, where we from the start thought, no, automated data input is the norm. And of course, that's something we struggled with in the beginning. You still need to be able to adapt things manually, because otherwise people sort of lose that sense of control. And we can't do everything for you automatically, because then the system quickly becomes a mess. But it starts from the standpoint that things should be automated. And that's where the main difference is.
Well, that is really that. See, now you got my interest. I got to try this thing, because now you see that. So that's who you're. So if you would say your main competitor is Pipedrive.
It's to be completely fair, honest, and transparent, and whatever. It's Pipedrive and HubSpot.
And HubSpot.
HubSpot. Yeah. Okay.
Pipedrive and HubSpot. Those are the ones that you're going after.
When I love on your website, you're actually saying, like, you've got links that compare your product to theirs, and that's bold. Yeah. That's very bold, and I like it. So we'll definitely check that out.
Well,
a lot of people are looking to compare. So
I really am impressed with the company and the product, and also impressed with you on how you're going out there and marketing your business by doing all these podcasts and stuff. Because you're doing a lot of salespeople are just chicken to do it. And and whatever happens, even if 2 people watch it, if you make 1 sale, if you get another piece of whatever happens, you get a little better because you're working at it each day and you're doing this. And what time is it? 6:30 now where you are?
It's 6:30 now.
What are you having for dinner? Waffles? I'm sorry, I had to say.
No, we still have to decide. We might get something from Uber Eats, 50% off.
From Uber Eats?
Yeah.
Look at
50% off.
Oh, are you still guys doing the Corona stuff where you are?
Oh, yeah. It's actually, we had a first wave, then they thought there was a second wave, but it never came. But now the infections are on the rise again. But we had it sort of under control all the time. We're not.
I have a surefire way to never get the virus. You want to know what it is?
Tell me.
I don't get tested. Screw them. It'll never happen. As long as you don't get tested, you got no problem. That's what you do right there. Well, I really appreciate your coming. Hopefully, do you have any gifts? You have any big plans you can give for all our listeners that are going to see this thing?
I didn't, but I'll make one right away.
Look at that. Look at that.
A discount code.
You think you know somebody.
Discount code. Here we go, people.
What shall I call it? Dan Jordan?
No.
How about Deej?
No.
DEEJ.
DEEJ. I will make it that.
DEEJ. Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
the Deej, right?
Well, we really appreciate you, and I'm gonna go for the free trial at least. We got to see how this works. But you're the best. So thanks so much for watching. Listen, remember, for you people out there that are getting into sales, and even if you have a product that's not quite as exciting as slightly more exciting than sawdust, there's still a way for you to get people interested, and that's always talking about the outcomes and not necessarily the product itself. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you want to sell. It matters what your customer and prospect wants to buy. If you don't know what it is, ask them. And they'll be happy to tell you. By the way, there's 3 things that people will love to give you if you ask them. I mean, it's magic. Only 3 things. So if you ask it, they will be happy to give it to you and talk to you. The first one is help. People just love to give you help. I wonder if you can help me. If you stop somebody in Home Depot and say, hey, where are the wrenches? They'll say, aisle 7. If you say, hey, I wonder if you can help me. Where are the wrenches? And they'll drag you by the wrist and bring you over to the wrenches and wait. People need to help. The second one is opinions. Hey, I wonder if I can get your opinion about something. Which is the best CRM program I should use? People will be more than happy to give you their opinion. It makes them feel good and smart about themselves.
SalesFlare, right? I already knew the answer.
Right. Yeah, it's SalesFlare. And the third one is this, and this one's magic. Everybody needs to listen to this. People love to give advice. So I wonder if I can get your advice. It's a double whammy. Not only do they get to feel good because they're able to help you with their advice, but you've just called them smart. I mean, you never ask for advice from an idiot. No one goes up to a 3-year-old and says, hey, can I get your advice? Because they don't know anything. So you just told them they're smart and you give them an opportunity to help you. Now they're invested in your future. So if you're out there trying to sell any product right now, today, go ask them some advice. Let me ask your advice. If you were creating a CRM program, what features would you want in it to make your life easier? You practice those skills today and your sales life will be better, your wallet will be thicker, your family will be happier, and you won't get any sort of virus ever again. You do that today. You're the best. I'm the Deej. Go get them.